right. I hate to see the night. I exist, but that don't classify as life. I always did right, but what went wrong? My life seems to sing the same sad song. Sometimes when I'm weak.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And we would like to first say thank you for joining us on your lunch hour, in the noon hour, right here with It's the Truth, whether you like it or not. I am Kenyatta Shepherd, one of the co-hosts of this amazing show. On my left is our host, Pastor Shanier Austin. Say hello, Pastor Austin.
What's up, everybody?
No, we didn't ask for all of that. We just said hello. Also in the studio, we have our other amazing host, Miss Wisdom Proverbs.
Absolutely.
Also, Miss Melinda.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Earl bought an applause sign, so when they say his name, the light's supposed to applause.
So what happened?
No, she didn't get the applause. No, he didn't get the applause for her.
Thank you.
They don't applause for her.
Tell them your applause are always automatic, though. We just don't even feed into that.
They don't applause for her, man.
We are happy today that this is show number
6.
You're fired, administrator.
Six,
This is show number 6. So we've survived 6 shows thus far, and we are enjoying these moments at the noon hour on Thursdays. We want you to invite your friends, share this information, because we are dealing with topics that sometimes are taboo. People don't want to deal with them. People don't want to talk about it. But we, right here in this studio, we're going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. And so today in studio, our guest is Mr. Rozak. Did I say it right? Mr. Razak, aka Papa San. He is here with us. He is a community activist. Also, he's tearing up the highways. He's a truck driver. So you have special holding, because that's what my daddy does. My daddy does. Yeah. So he's a truck driver, community activist, and we are here. Say hello to our guests today.
Peace, family. Peace, guests.
Yeah, turn them up, yeah.
Turn them up. We need to
up a little bit.
Turn them up, Earl. Make sure you're loud.
You got it.
There you go.
Peace, family. Greetings, family.
Thank you. So I'm going to turn this part of our show
Razak
over.
is in the house. Razak, me and him, we have at least over 30 years of friendship. We grew up together. We all went to school together. We go way back to the Sandlot. Amen.
Yeah.
And you still want to connect with him?
Oh, man. Hey, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. All right.
You better watch yourself on this show today. You know, I'm a Donald Trump some people around here. You're fired. No, it's like that way, not the other way. I fired people that, Donald Trump firing everybody. But that's the only way, not the others, not grabbing nobody. Amen. All right. Well, yeah, I have my brother and my friend Razak in the house today. And he, Razak is a very special brother. He's a community activist, a voice out here in the streets, and one who believes in Black empowerment. He's also into music. He's rubbed shoulders with some great people, some great people in great places, and all that. Razak, what's going on in your life, man? Tell us what's going on with you.
Man, at this time, man, I'm just staying positive, staying focused on the goals. We want to do something great for our city, Harvey, Illinois.
Y'all need it, man. We need it out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on out there. Obviously politically, but it's trickling down into the streets as well. So I want to approach it. I want to approach it differently than we were accustomed to, and trying to unite the city.
Cool. Shout out to H-Town, Harvey in the house.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, one of our school buddies, one of our friends, one of my brothers, Keith Price, will be running as a candidate for mayor out there. They need some help, but they need a lot of help there. Yes, so, Harvey once was a vibrant city, but now it looks like someone dropped a bomb there. So we definitely keeping Harvey in our prayers, and we need some real positive brothers like yourself and Keith and some other people who are going to get out there and make a difference, make a change. So we definitely look forward to that. Listen, we have a special show today, and I want us to I want to hear the voice of the women today. I really want to hear the women on this issue, because it has become an issue. So if you get a chance, I want you to call in today at 708-223-8953. Today we're going to be talking about Stephon Clark. Should we support him or not? Should we support him or not? Many of us know that Stephon Clark on March 18th became one of many unarmed Black men who was gunned down by the police. He was shot. It says they were shot at 20 times. He was in his grandmother's backyard. He ran from the police. He ended up in his grandmother's backyard. The police said that he had a pistol, only to find out it was a cell phone. And they lied and said that he was approaching them. But in fact, the coroner report came out. The man who, I can't think of the coroner's name, very special coroner, he in the movie Concussion, he did the autopsy on him and discovered that he had been shot in the back 8 times. And so here it is. We're back at the same place. Another unarmed black man has been killed by the police. And the police lied, fabricated reports, and all that stuff. But the issue now is, other day, not too long ago, I think a young lady by the name, I'll say her name because she's on social media and she put it out there, named China Fox. She made a video, and in the video, she talked about why we shouldn't support Stephon Clark. We shouldn't support him primarily because of his views toward African-American women. I have some of the quotes that he tweeted about. He said, about black women. He said, "I don't want nothing black but an Xbox. Dark bees bring dark days." He also said, "I don't want a black baby. I'm already black." And so this has sparked major controversy because women have come out and women are now saying, we shouldn't support him. We shouldn't support him. And so I want to hear your thoughts, your views on this subject, because it's, listen, and let me say this. I don't agree with nothing he said about black women. I think black women are one of God's greatest creations. They're beautiful in form and fashion. And so I don't stand with nothing he said, but we have a bigger issue here. An unarmed black man has been killed by the police again. Not the first one, but again. And so let's talk about this. Let's talk about his views. Let's talk about what he thinks. And we know, should we not support him because he had these views, or should we look past the views and say, hey, listen, because some would say he's a contributor to white supremacy in his view of black women. Do I agree with that? Yes, I do. Because if you feel that way, if you're black and you feel that way about your own kind, then I think that you are a contributor to white supremacy. And so I want to talk about that. What you think about that?
His tweets don't bother me at all. What he says and how he feels about black women has absolutely nothing to do with how he was shot down like a dog. I would still support the movement, whatever it is. Just imagine me being a black female. If it was my son or my father or my uncle, would I want someone to not support the movement because of whatever it is that they put out there on social media?
Okay. How about you?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, have to say my name so I know you're talking to me.
Say my name. Say my name.
Well, me personally, I mean, his thoughts, of course they rub you the wrong way. But at the end of the day, even in what he said, sir, your mother is black. So are you saying you want no connections with your mom, your sisters, or if you have aunts, grandmother, whatever the case may be? And a lot of times people say stuff for attention. Yeah. You never know what his reason behind it. He could have been coming out of a bad relationship. So now he's speaking out of hurt, bitterness, and all of the other things. But for whatever reason, his preference in women, I could care less. He can date Chinese, whatever, that's him. But at the end of the day, the support that we're rendering to this situation is the actions of the police officer, because his personal preference for women, that's his business. Exactly. But what happened to you, we have a problem with. So your preference we'll put on one side, but the actions of what happened to you is what we're going to support. Right. Because we still support people who hate us really, but we buy their clothes. Mm-hmm. Businesses that don't even want us in their, they don't even want us in their community, but they come in our community and take our money. Yeah. So we're still supporting causes that we really say we don't agree with. So if this was your son, just like Melinda said earlier, if this was your son, your father, would you still be saying, oh, because he didn't like black women, he dated white women or Chinese women or whatever the case may be, we're not going to support him? That makes absolutely no sense. Right. Come on,
Razak, what you think about this, man?
There's a couple. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me to the show.
Mm-hmm. It's an honor. Thank you for being here, bro.
And it's two things I want to talk about. First, the sister China Fox, who's putting that information out. we got to understand her mindset and where she's coming from. Obviously, she's been hurt by a lot of brothers.
I agree.
And what tend to happens with our women is once one man hurts them, we all pay for it. You know, regardless if we guilty of it or not. So that's her stance, and she's not new to Facebook. I've been following some things she's been saying for years, and I even seen the switch when she was pro black, just about our people. Then switched to a more of a feminist mindset when it came to males in general. Okay, and what she did, she found a niche, she found a hook, something that can get that can generate hits, which was to attack black males, period. And she stuck with it, and she literally became the female version of the brother. What's the man? No. No.
Did you just say that?
No, the other radio host who hates black women. What's his name? Tony Sotomayor, whatever his name is. And I was following them too. So
the one that Roseanne was supporting.
Is that what she was? Oh wow. But they find these niches, and then they just play on them. So her stance is tainted. So we can't even take her serious. And plus, just reading some things, she got some other issues as well, going on. But that's that. Now dealing with the young brother getting shot. He was 22.
Yeah.
20 years old. I mean, where was most of us at 22? Are we where we at 40 years old?
Absolutely not. Mentally, absolutely.
Right. I agree.
Muhammad Ali said if a man sees the world at 25, the same way as he does at 45, he wasted 20 years of his life.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? And so to take his interpretation and then even go to the point where say that he's worthy of death for that. Because that's what she's saying.
Basically,
that's what you get in so many words.
What you get, right?
Yeah, that's what you get.
He's worthy of death. So we gonna back away from him. And on the other end of that, who is how is she saying that the person who killed him is supposed to be justified in doing that, or has right to do that, or was governed to be his judge for his preference?
And see, what people fail to realize, he wasn't killed because of his view of black women. I believe he was killed because he was black. Let's keep it real.
And because of what happened, what he did at that moment.
But the person who killed him, I bet you his views of black people is a little bit negative as well.
Exactly.
Maybe more negative than what Stefan's was. To be honest, go ahead.
And then my question would be, is this something that if we were to research his tweets and his statuses and just to poll the people that were connected to him, is this really how he felt? Or was this a binge that he went on at that particular season or moment of his life? We say dumb stuff on Facebook when we're upset. And like I said, he could have been bitter, angry, whatever. But that does not necessarily mean this was who he was. And this is the stance that he lived by. So who is she to take those tweets and make it cement in his life?
What was interesting about her tweets also is that I looked at, her response, the response she was getting from other women. And it was amazing how many women were supporting her view. And what's crazy about her, when you look at her, somebody in your family stepped outside of our race and, procreated, because she's not 100%, 100% black. And to make it go even further with it, they pulled her receipts, and she was saying things about, she would never, be with a black man. She would never sleep with a black man. She loved, don't hate on her because she loves white men. And listen, I'm not against no one's preference. Everyone is entitled. That's China Fox. No, they pulled her receipts. Okay. And her crew came back and supported her and said, well, that was then, this is now. She's different. I think I screenshotted them too. It's so interesting because that was her view. But now she's changed. She's pro-black, she's a feminist and all this stuff. And the problem I have with this is the number of women who are chiming in saying, yeah, because of that. Now, I get it. It is wrong what he said. What he said was absolutely wrong. It was crazy, to be honest. But at the end of the day, he was not murdered because of his view of black women. Exactly. And I even want to give comments because the reality is this. Let's even go, I've not been in church all my life. People who know me know where I come from. I've ran from the police before. And I already know when you run from the police, they're high powered. They mad now. Oh, they are very mad. Why you run from me? So I can kind of repaint that whole picture. And if he has a history with them, they already on 10. So they're up. It's just like it's like the old slave mentality, the old slave master. When the slave ran away from the plantation, one or two things: he was beaten, or he was hung, he was killed. And that's that same replay that we're seeing today. And so, ladies, I want you all to call in. I want to hear your views on this subject because it is something that we as a community need to discuss. We have to get past, because listen, Stephon Clark was not a perfect victim. He had preferences. He had views. He was not perfect in form. And so, but still, are we to say, okay, look at his imperfections and not support him? Or we look at a bigger picture here, which is the cause and what's happening to us as a people, as a community, as a culture. 708-223-8953. We on IntellectualRadio.com. I want to hear your views. Please call in today.
So before the tweets came out, was China Fox, was she on board with the Stephon Clark movement?
I'm quite sure she was. Okay, I didn't see any video prior to that.
You know what? I wouldn't even go there and say that. But see, I've been following this lady for a while, even before, like I say, even before she became who she is. And I'm telling you, she got some little issues going on that's other than just hating black men. I mean, something happened to this woman.
And so, but go ahead. What I was going to say. Okay, but with that being said, I mean, it just seems as if black women or people are looking for a reason not to support the movement. We will sit up here and people will sit up here and put any small thing out.
That's right.
That is irrelevant.
That's true.
That's right.
To make you not unite. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what they want us to do. And we fall for it every single time. If this sister was on board in the beginning and then uses this excuse not to support, she didn't want to do it in the first place.
That's
because
right.
Let's be honest, African-American people, some, not all, we're lazy. And we don't want to continue to do anything. We'll do something for a little while because it's hot, it's trending, but we'll fall off.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's right.
And this is it. And this was her excuse. I would respect her more if she came on and said, you know what? I just don't want to do it. Period. Instead of looking for a reason not to. She didn't want to support, period.
And I think too, with people like her, who is she a social media? She's social. She's
social media fame.
Number one, to me, you have to be very careful when you are a person of influence, because her views and all of that. Most people could be following her just because she is who she is. They don't believe it, or that's not really their stance. So what she's saying, who necessarily believes that these people are actually supporting? She wants to be relevant to me.
That's it.
She wants to be relevant. And right now she found a bus that was moving. So she got on and she's going to ride it until that bus parks. And then when the next one comes along, she's going to say, we're not supporting Nike anymore. Whatever the case may be. Baby, sit down.
She is the female version.
Tony
Solo. What I was going to say.
She said, no, she thinking another thing. But anyway, listen, and what's sad about it, every time an injustice happened against our people, something happened to one of us that's just totally wrong. There's always someone pulling character reports. Oh, man, Brother Eric Gardner was selling loose squares. That's wrong. Michael Brown was a drug. Trayvon Martin had marijuana in his system. That
None
don't
of
give
that
you a
gives
right
you
to
a
be
right.
murdered
Absolutely.
like that.
Absolutely.
That all of that is irrelevant, and they
Yeah.
do that to us all the time. And guess what? We fall into that trap.
All the time.
We fall into it every time. We always, man, listen, Dr. King, Malcolm X, everybody, they didn't stand up for perfect black people. They stood up for all black people.
Yeah.
Right.
They stood up for everyone who had the hue of our complexion, who had our skin tone, our melanin, who were being mistreated. Because at the end of the day, when you go out there, they're not, when white supremacy come against you, they're not asking you what's your preference. They don't care about your preference. They don't care about nothing. All they care about is the color of your skin, and that's what they want to take away. That's what they're aiming their attention at, and their hatred towards.
Right. And that's the thing that we do as black people in general. And I know a lot of us heard of the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Yes, exactly.
That they set us against each other and then start treating each group differently so that we can be jealous of each other. And that's just been trickling down. And now we do it to ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So now we're gonna look for any excuse.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
To jump on a white supremacist coattail or whatever and say, yeah, okay,
you right.
This justified. That's right. Especially when it comes to murder. I mean, I don't, my thing like this is when it comes to police brutality in our community. The sooner we start policing our own community,
that's right,
is the sooner all this is gonna stop. You see what I'm saying? And we have to get these foreigners, what I call foreigners, up out of our cities, because they are foreign to our lifestyle. They are foreign to our way of life. They're foreign to how things are set up. They don't know the dynamics of the black community. They don't understand our language. They don't understand our body language. You know what I'm saying? They can, they don't even understand our language that we use, our words and stuff like that. And now you got these people with so much power over people that you don't even understand, and then you even give them the power to kill.
Well, it goes
get away with it.
It goes back to this. They've always capitalized off our broken walls in our community. They feel like this. Hey, listen, they understand that they're a broken wall. So let's capitalize on. Let's throw liquor stores in their communities. Let's pull these businesses that drains out of their community, that won't hire. Watch this. The people that's in their communities, but come into their communities and pull from their communities, because we understand their broken walls. And you made a something that's so powerful. You made a great point. They don't understand our language, our culture. They don't understand us. And what's sad about it, they always try to write about us. That's what's sad about it. And that we need to start policing ourselves, educating our own. Like, for instance, this is not an act of separatism. This is not an act of, say, of racism on our part, but this is an act of self-empowerment. And we don't believe in that level of self-empowerment. I'm always reminded of the scriptures in Exodus. Here it is: a new Pharaoh rose to power. King Seti, he rises to power. And when he rose to power, he saw a group of people who were multiplying and growing, and they were numerous in the land. He saw the Hebrews, black folk, growing and multiplying. What did he say? Okay, let's inflict them with hard labor. Let's set taskmasters over them to inflict them with hard labor. Who are the taskmasters? Taskmasters were individuals who held positions of authority, who, watch this, targeted these unarmed black folk, these unarmed people, and hurt them for the purpose of, watch this, building their city, their country, their agenda. Because one thing that I do know, racism is birthed out of this. Whenever there's a threat to their political structure or their power or their position of power, that's what racism, where you'll find racism right there. So whenever they look at us as a people, as a culture, and they see us like, hey man, we're a threat to their political structure or their positions of power, because that's what he was afraid of. He said, listen, they're going to partner with our enemies and overthrow us. He felt like this: I cannot lose my political position. I cannot lose my power. So what I need to do is put these taskmasters over them, these individuals who hold these positions of authority, that's going to inflict them with punishment.
Politicians.
Exactly. All that.
And they set up these laws, these fictitious laws that only are regulated to us.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? So it goes back to the slave codes,
Mhm.
and they just continue with the cycle. Every time we break a matrix, they just recreate one
Mhm.
up under another name.
That's right.
Like the sister Michelle Alexander put out the new Jim Crow, mass
Exactly.
incarceration.
Exactly.
You see
That's
what
the
I'm
new
saying?
Jim Crow. It is.
Yeah. So once you get a felony, and it's easy to get a felony now. Shit, I mean, if you black, you a walking felony. Some people are.
Wait a minute. What is a walking felony?
Black. Anything
Black.
Soon as you wake up, guilty.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
Soon as you're
that's
born,
as soon as
guilty.
you're born, you guilty.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? And so we carry that burden. Then society supports it. And then they come up with their belief systems and they laws, that come from that. And then we subjugate it to them. And then as black people, we sit here and enforce them instead of saying no, no. Because at one time, slavery was the law. You understand what I'm saying? That was the law.
That was the law.
And that was wrong. And that was against.
Mhm.
So we got to look at what's against our lifestyle, what's against our growth and development economically, and start putting things in motion around that so that we can offset all of that stuff that's stagnating our community. And especially economically, because I believe that the new consciousness, it's good for us to talk about a lot of theology and history, but the new consciousness, we need to focus on economics. Because if we don't become powerful on that level, we always going to be behind, and we're not going to be respected by the world.
What's crazy about it is not become we're already powerful on that level. We just don't use the power.
Right. Exactly. Oh,
we got a trillion.
You're right.
We got a trillion. We got $1 trillion spending in this happening in this economy. We spend $1 trillion. We're powerful already. I want to ask Melinda this question. As a black woman, what do you say to your child in the midst of all this chaos? As a black mother, you have a daughter. If you don't have a son, but you have a daughter, what do you say to her? Because this affects her. Where do you stand?
With my daughter being in Atlanta, in the South, I definitely, exactly. So I always let her know, if you ever get pulled over by the police, remain polite, do not have an attitude or anything like that. Keep your hands at 10 and 2 at all times. Whatever it is this man asks you for, whether it's license, insurance, always have it ready. And I always tell her, keep everything updated. We don't need any issues. Because I can't get to you as fast as I could if you was, in my house. So I tell her to just be mindful, be aware, and I don't think we should really have to teach our children to be that way. You understand what I'm saying? It's sad that we have to say that to our kids. They can't just be out here, living life or whatever freely like, we did when we were growing up. But, I try to just definitely make her, aware of those type of situations.
Now, I'm going to put your business out there. You got pulled over by the police the other day.
I did.
How did you handle that?
The same way I told my daughter.
What'd you do?
I sat there, whatever this man asked me for, I gave him my license, my insurance, and that's it. He asked me to get out of the car. So he pulled me over. He said that one of my bright lights were brighter than the other. Seriously. He said my bright light was brighter than the other, and that my license plate light was out. And we should have the license plate light on so the police can see your license plate.
Where were you, Melinda?
I was in Peoria, Illinois.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's super dark out there.
So you didn't bat your eyes and try to get them?
No, I wouldn't. Not this time.
Well, the thing about it, man, is that they gonna try to do whatever they want to do just because they got the power to. But as black people, as a black man, we got to be aware that we are in this condition is really on us. Until black men start acting like black men.
That's right there.
That's good.
Until black men stand up.
Yeah.
That's good.
This is gonna keep happening. You know what I'm saying? Because we the protectors. We are the ones that's gonna push them off. And the minute we band up together like soldiers, like we're supposed to do, like we can and stop being punks, and stop being cowards. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they see us band together and have each other's back at all times, that's when they're gonna back up. Because then they gonna look at it okay, now we can't approach them. You know what I'm saying?
And listen, let me go ahead. I understand the anger to hear another black man degrade black women like that. I understand the anger that sisters feel right now because, like I said, you just hit the point. We are responsible as black men. We are responsible for the growth and development in our community. And as black men, we have let our sisters down.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We've let them down. I say this all the time that behind every broken black sister there is a black man.
Yeah,
I know it to be true. So as a black man, we've let our sisters down. We have not upheld them and encouraged them and built them up in a way. So I understand the anger behind it and not saying, okay, well, this man was unjustly killed. He was murdered in cold blood. He was shot down, words like a dog. He was shot down like that. That's wrong. We're angry. We're upset about that. We cannot look at his preferences. If he chose, everybody is entitled to date who they want to date.
Absolutely.
You know, my children, they are entitled to date. If they want to date outside the race, that's their God-given right. I can't stop that. I have a right to date who I want to date, either in my race or outside my race. So we can't be stuck on the whole preference issue. Yes, he was wrong with what he said. And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have some problems with his family. You know, I'm looking at the whole movement of his family, preferably his brother. I'm looking at what's going on, and sometimes that does put in my mindset like, dude, this is clown stuff. But I get back to this point. You can't tell a person how to grieve,
right?
You know, but some of the stuff that he's doing is mental illness rests in our community.
That's exactly that's a whole nother issue in itself. There is that mental illness. I post this a lot. People know this. I say mental illness is a silent war among black people.
It is.
And I believe that's what's happening with the young man, Stavante, and you know, he may be suffering from something else that we don't know about.
Exactly.
You know, and then on top of that is that he's dealing with this grief as well. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of things in our community are overlooked, especially mental illness. Where's our resources?
Well, I think there are resources for it because I'm going to be honest. I work inside of Chicago public schools, and even in our young people, that mental illness issue starts very young. And so our parents, when we try to talk to these parents about trying to get some assistance for your child and some wraparound services for these children, they go into denial. But while you're in denial and your child is out here willy-nilly getting ready to cause major issues for us, they don't want to grab a hold to the resources that they have. They're out there, but our mindset for black people, number one, is we don't think we need to go to counseling. And so right now,
look down upon.
we don't, sometimes people, like he said earlier, they don't know how to grieve. So this person might not know how to handle his grieving moment. So he out here willy-nilly.
You know, the thing is that, times have changed. Let's put that out there. Things have changed for us greatly. Yeah. Some of the things that we were not privy to, we're now privy to.
Right.
We do have access to those things.
Right.
What happens in our community is that what we tend to do is normalize dysfunction.
Yeah.
Because we're in it, we've been in it so long, we might as well just normalize it's a normal way of life.
Yes.
You can't normalize dysfunction, because when you normalize dysfunction, what will happen is that you will constantly not see the help that's on the other side of that dysfunction, but you'll try to look for help within the dysfunction, and you will never find it. So you'll say, well, I might as well stay here because it's comfortable. It's a level of comfort that I found, and I'm gonna just deal with it. And the reality at some point, man, you have to say this: you can control some things you can't control what happened to you. But there are some things you can control yourself. You can change some things because God has given each and every one of us that power to do so. You have the power to change certain things. But we don't like the process.
No,
exactly.
The process is hard, man. We don't even trust the process.
We don't trust the process, man.
But you have to go through the process. You have to say, hey, listen, it may take me 10 years to finish school, but guess what? When you finish, it's you. Those 10 years, you're not going to even remember the struggle of those 10 years.
And nobody's going to ask you how long it took you.
And but the thing about it is that the longer you stay on the road, the closer you get to it. And if you get off the road, the further you're gonna be away from it.
That's right.
It ain't no in between. You know, and some people lose that will to fight. You know, to move. You know, to push forward, and that's just prevalent throughout our whole community in most stuff that we do.
Now, I want to say something because I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench in something in a minute. But I want to. One of our viewers said, "Am I wrong?" Tradonna McAllister said, "Am I wrong that I've told my son date only a black woman? He has so many choices." In the same breath, I told him I may date outside of my race. I told him I may date before I was married outside of my race because the picking is slimmer for myself than for him. I know it's a double standard, but is it the truth?
Why would you put those stipulations on your child? That's a weight. I mean, why would you tell him not to date outside his race? Maybe that's what he likes, or maybe that's who he'll. And I think it's personal for me because, and I'm just putting his tea out there. My son dates out of his race all the time, but I'm not going to tell him don't do that because I'm not the one that has to be with that person. You date who you want to date. But if my son was to get killed, God forbid, today, I don't want anybody to tell me that I don't support you and your son because he was dating a white woman and he didn't want to be with black girls. That's crazy. That is absurd to me.
What you think about that, Razan?
Well, I mean, you know, coming from, you know, my father's Indian, from Trinidad. But you know, we as original people of the earth, we got to understand that, our African descent isn't our only people. You know, we outnumber Caucasian people 11-1. If we really look at the total original people of the earth, and we are original everywhere. Whether we got straight hair, pointy nose, you know, our complexion is dark. Even in the Philippines and even parts of China, you know what I'm saying? You know, parts of Latin America. It always go back to that. So we got to look broader in that aspect. You know what I'm saying, when it comes to original. So my personal preference has always been sisters.
Okay.
If you see,
we appreciate that.
Even the mother of my children, they were darker women. They wasn't even like, not my mother is a light skinned beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying?
Your mother is,
and the queen I'm with now, light skinned beautiful woman. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not into the complexion. I'm into the person.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Where they are. Like I said, my personal preference though is sisters. Okay. Ain't nothing like the sister.
That's right. Melinda, you think she's wrong?
I don't even want to give that any energy, to be honest with you. Right or wrong, I can't say that. I can't say if she's right or wrong. I mean, whatever she tells her son, it is what it is. My preference, though, is a brother all day, every day. I love y'all. You know, I know y'all need to get it together, but I still, you know, I'm going to support y'all no matter what. No matter what. Hands down. So, you know,
you know, we as a people, you know, we need to get our stuff together. I don't want to cuss on the show. We need to get it together. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is that if we don't constantly work towards that, you know what I'm saying, we are never going to make it better for the next generation.
Right.
And see, that's what we always got to think about, not just our children, but our great grandchildren. You know, into the year 2100, where they going to be at,
right?
You know, and what kind of legacy are we setting up for them right now? Because that's how other people think, you know, and you know, so
you know, my view on it is that if that's what she told her child, I think she has the right to tell her child that, you know, that's her preference as a mother. You know, she can give, you know, we all have preferences for our children. Sometimes we tell our children, I want you to be a lawyer, but that may not be what they want to go out and do. So she has every right to say, hey, you know, because there's some cultural dynamics she may understand, or she may have a different view on that she want to see happen within her family. I'm like this with my children. I tell them like this, you know, whoever you choose, if you love that person and that person loves you, that's your choice. I love them too. You know, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to limit you but I do want to see our people come up,
But let me ask you this, or sister this, who said that, there was a time in our history when that was illegal.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So is it actually love we finding, or is it just an experience we're looking for that we weren't privy to at one time?
Oh, okay.
I would say both. I think it's sometimes you just meet some wonderful people. I think you can meet some wonderful people, and then sometimes people get caught up in the experience of their situation.
Brother, I'm just saying as I'm 44 years old, brother, and I have never in my life been approached by a white woman. Oh, wait a minute, I'm gonna say one, but it wasn't like But I'm just saying I've never. So I don't even know. That is that even possible? You see what I'm saying? Because I'm just saying that if love was real, you mean to tell me I've been here 44 years and I ain't been approached by one ever in my life?
Well, I've been approached by some Caucasian guys, but it was always for the wrong reasons because of what they heard. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They want, and then they want to soak
what they hear.
You know
what it is.
Well, once you go black, you never go back. Is that what it is? Is that what they heard?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, they want the experience.
Yeah, exactly.
They want the experience, and they want to know what the rave is about, and we got the best woman on earth.
Yeah,
and they want to.
And on the flip,
listen, I get it. But I'm just on this. If a person, y'all crazy. If a person has a preference, I think that they're entitled. They're entitled to their preference. But at the end of the day, we as a people have to understand that what we're dealing with in our communities, what we're dealing with in this world has nothing to do with our preferences. It has a lot to do with our color. And so regardless of what was happening, they're still going to approach us. They're not going to come and say, hey, listen, I'm murdering you because you like white women, or you hate black people, or whatever the case may be. We're killing you because your skin color. We don't like your skin color. So I personally just believe that, a person is entitled to choose who they want to choose. Like I said, my kids, if they came home with people outside of it, I love them. If you love them, I love them. They treating you well, you treating them well. I'm good with that. Well, what I'm saying is that we're not here to say because this brother had a negative comments about black women that he deserved to die, because that's basically what they're saying, bro. That's basically what she's saying. Like don't support him, don't march, don't stand up, don't make a voice, don't do anything in regards to Stephon Clark. Let him just be the Negro who was murdered away from everybody else. They're basically saying let him die, but don't let Trayvon Martin, don't let Alton Sterling, don't allow Eric Gardner and the rest of them, but don't allow any of them to die. Stand up for them, but don't stand up for him, because in one woman's word, he was the coon in the crew.
You know what? I haven't even heard her stance on other black men who've been murdered. Truthfully, I haven't seen anything where she actually stood up and said, okay, I'm with Black Lives Matter, and I'm with all of the brothers who got killed by police. I don't even think she even did that.
All right.
I haven't seen it.
So let's talk about why we should stand behind Stephon Clark, because the more we talk about China Fox or whatever her name is, we're giving her energy. Yeah, your battery died. We provide an energy and giving her a more of a platform. You understand what I'm saying? We bringing attention to it. So let's talk about why we should.
Let's bring her on the show. Let's reach out to her, have her come sit next to you.
Why we should. Yeah. Why we should.
Yeah, well, let's talk about
the movement.
Why should we support?
First of all, we should support this brother for the simple fact that he was murdered unjustly.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Period.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And on top of that is that if we don't support our people when they, in these situations, they're gonna keep thinking that it's normal, that it's okay for them to do it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And the more we push back, the more they're gonna stop. But what happens is with us as a people, is that whenever there's a shooting, there's a lot of rah rah rah.
Mhm.
But then
It's
after
quiet.
after the settlements gets made or whatever happens, we kind of go back. We kind of drift away from that energy, and then we try to get back to normal way of life or whatever.
See, and that's
But we gotta
I'm glad you brought that up,
understand
bro.
we are constantly under war.
That's the problem I have with us. Like when Black Panther came out, everybody was like Wakanda forever. You know, everyone was dashiki'd up. You know, Black empowerment, Black economic empowerment, all of that. And it just seemed like all of a sudden, once the movie died down, we went back to normal. This mess come up.
Whatever's
Well,
trendy,
you know,
we hop on that bus.
Yeah,
right?
we need
the
to stop
problem
being
with us-
trendy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it ain't even. I'm gonna tell you at the psychological level of our people,
Mhm.
we are a very highly emotional people,
We are.
Very.
Yeah.
and we would rather be moved emotionally to do something instead of intellectually. And
Because emotional stimulation is easier.
it's easier,
That's right.
but intellectual is harder.
If you want to chime in on this topic, call us at 1-708-223-8953. And you can reach us here at IntellectualRadio.com. Call us in if you want to chime in on this topic.
Now, someone says, one of my followers said that all lives matter no matter what color we are.
Yeah.
We are all brothers and sisters and have the same father. I support the family anyway. That's what God wants us to do. Have a wonderful day, guys.
I believe you. I mean, all lives matter, but all lives are not being treated the same. All lives matter.
Don't matter.
I don't believe that.
Because
I'm with you
ours
on that
don't.
one. All lives don't matter. I don't agree with
until our lives matter, then all lives gonna matter. But everybody else's lives matter.
Yeah, and I agree with that. All lives, that whole statement of all lives matter don't matter in this world that we live in. Because if it did, our approach, what's happening to us would be totally different.
Exactly.
You can disarm, man, listen, you can disarm a man in so many ways, bro. You can shoot him in the leg. You can tase him. You don't have to kill, you just straight murder him, man. Come on. Really?
But like that sheriff said, they not they are not trained to disable. They're trained to
murder,
to eliminate.
See, I had a brother coming on. He's a former police officer, and he was giving some conversation to that, and he has a different view on it. He was saying that their first order is not to be aggressive. They've been trained to de-escalate the situation. What's happening out here is a total abuse of power. And this is a former police officer saying this. He's saying that, listen, they received the training to de-escalate the situation. That's why you'll see in certain circumstances with certain colors, you know, people are their approach is different. You know, guy got a knife, wielding a knife. You're like, hey, buddy, you better put that knife down, or you know, you're gonna get it. But then they pull out a taser and tase him. Let one of us have a wallet, a phone, a wallet, and it looks like something. You know, it's like, man, dude, we're going to murder those particular individuals because you know how they view us is different. You know, they see me, you and I as black men. They say, "Oh man, that's an instant threat." You know, because I had people say this when I was on the campus of Moody Bible Institute. People used to say this to me. It used to be so funny. Like, wow, you're like 7 feet tall. Like, you are so big and I'm like, man, I'm only 6'5", but they're in their eyes. I'm just this giant of a man. You know, I'm this monster. This you know, this mega guy. So it's a different viewpoint. And so I really want to give comments. So what do we do now? Because listen, this stuff is becoming a powder keg. And I say this, there's an old saying that goes like this: you put a cat in the corner, he's gonna come out fighting.
It's true.
Because black lives don't matter in certain circumstances. But then when a cop is killed, it's like, oh, blue lives matter. I'm not advocating that at all. That's wrong. No. We're not advocating violence at all. It is wrong. But I'm saying that's the problem. We have a call on.
Thank you for calling. Give us your name and tell us where you're calling from.
This is Mario. I'm calling from Chicago.
Hello, Mario. Thank you for calling us.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I just called like the last briefing of the topic, but I just want to say this about Stephon Clark. I'm not rocking with Shorty, point blank, period. Because the disparaging things he has said about black women, we can't expect black women to continue to support men that dogs them. I do want justice for him, but if you read the comments, like he said, he don't want nothing black but an Xbox. He said black bitches bring dark days. I don't need any black. He said I'm black enough. I don't need black babies. That kind of stuff. We have to make examples. You can't just disrespect us, then turn around and say we need you. I do want justice for him. But other than that, I would not donate. I would not support. I would not. He could take him and his crazy ass brother on with their life. Seriously, we got to start drawing boundaries. We got to start drawing boundaries and holding people accountable. We don't do that. We so docile and we turn our head and say, "But we still need our no." Sometimes you got tough love. Love has boundaries, and we got to start drawing a line.
All right, Mario, I want to ask you a question. How old are you, if you don't mind?
40.
You're 40. All right. Were you much different when you were 20 years old than you are now? Do you see the world
much different?
Okay. Have you? But okay, what I'm saying is have you changed your views from when you were 20 until you're 40 right now?
Yeah. Of course I have.
Okay. Well, that's what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with
But see, that's a general question. You ain't specifically asked that question. What was your view on women at 20 as opposed to
No. What I'm saying is that everybody has to have a chance to grow and mature. Some people may not go down your path. Some people may have views that may be different from yours or different from mine. But if we don't allow them to grow and mature, how can they ever change? And just because he had a view of black women, that doesn't mean that it would have been permanent. Because are you a Christian, brother?
I believe in Jesus.
Okay. Well, do you know the story of Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Paul was an enemy. He was an enemy of Christ. He was actually on his way to go murder some followers. And then until the word touched him and changed his heart. So if we're going to be brothers to each other, we got to give everybody that chance to grow. These are children we're dealing with. And as
you
adults.
Say that about Judas.
Is Judas?
No. You said the chance to grow. You can say that about Judas. He walked with Christ hand by hand, and his heart was not changed.
Let me ask you.
If we gave him 10 more years, could he have changed? Of course he could have.
Let me.
David Duke, the former governor that was a Nazi. He grew his whole life like that. Could he have changed and said, "Well, I started liking black people"? Woulda, coulda, shoulda. And we can't sometimes cherry pick on divinity. Like, oh yeah, this was Paul. Paul was on a certain divine mission. Young man wasn't on no divine mission.
Let me ask you this, Mario. Let me ask you this.
Paul wasn't on divine mission.
Let me say this. Let me ask you this, Mario.
Paul was an apostle. He chose to be an apostle.
No.
I'm talking about not at the time.
Saul, when he was Saul. Before he was Paul, he was Saul.
Right.
Let me ask you this, Mario. When you say you're not supportive of him. So if they had a rally or some type of organized event to support him, you wouldn't be part of that event?
Nope.
So what is your stance on what happened to him? Because that's what we're interested in. Was what they did to him, regardless of what his preferences was that's what we want to support, not his women or how he felt about women, but why they killed him and how they killed him.
Let me say this to you, Mario, before you
get
back.
Your question, what I would say is, however the system goes through internal affairs, their process, I'll step out, let them go through that in order to resolve the situation.
Let me say this to you, Mario. There's a story in the scriptures, in the Bible, man, about a woman named Esther. Esther had rose to power. She became the queen of Persia. She was draped in Persian regalia. She had a position of authority and all of that. And there was an edict that went out against her people by a man named Haman, who wanted to murder all her people. He said, listen, we're going to murder. They set an executive order in place to murder all her people. So here it is. A friend of hers by the name of Mordecai said he was upset about the whole situation. He said, listen, now she has a certain position. Her position is different from her people's now. Her position is that of Persian royalty now, even though she had Jewish blood. She was now in a position of Persian royalty. And Mordecai, when he sent that word back to her, he said, listen, don't you think for 1 second that is not going to fall on your household or affect your family because you're in this position over here. At the end of the day, it's still going to affect you. And all I'm saying to you, brother, is this. He was wrong, and you're right. I agree with you. We should hold our people accountable for their actions. We should hold our men accountable for how we're treating our sisters in our communities. We should be held accountable. We should hold our sisters accountable on how they're treating themselves and treating each other. I agree with you. But at the end of the day, there's a bigger cause here. And the cause that's here is this. Regardless of what his preferences were, regardless of the position that he held, what happened to him is still going to affect him. So if we don't make a stand and make our voices heard, guess what? It's going to happen again and again. And guess what? Regardless of your position, it's still going to affect you. So you can say all day long, I'm not going to support this guy. I'm not going to go to no marches. I'm not going to do this or whatever the case may be. They're still not going to stop you from being targeted as an unarmed African-American man. It's still not going to stop police. They're not going to ask you, oh, are you a Stefan supporter? You know, they're not going to ask you that question. All they're going to look at is the color of your skin, and they're going to try their best to hurt you. And so, brother, I just I understand your view. I'm with you on the levels of accountability. But I think that as African Americans, we need to look at there's a bigger picture here. You know, I'm quite sure no one had a chance to sit Stefan down and say, hey, man, dude, what's wrong with you? And if you look at the nature of his family, we can see the setup there that, man, there's some issues there. And those issues probably have not been addressed. So, I encourage you, man. Thank you for your viewpoints, man.
Thank you, Mario, for calling.
Man, thank you so much, man. Continue to just, I agree with you, man. Hold us accountable, man. Thank you. Have a great day.
Too.
Wow.
You got any more callers?
So listen, we have a few more minutes. I want you to call in. Would you say something?
No, I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I'm involved in. One thing I put together is an organization called Universal Nation, and this is comprised of a different approach of the way we can try to secure our community. You know what I'm saying? And just like the world meets in New York at the United Nations. I would like for us as a people to have a forum where all of our organizations meet.
Oh, that sounds great.
Discuss our issues and our problems.
Let's take this caller. We're gonna get some more conversations today. Let's take this caller.
Thank you for calling. Caller, you're on the air. Give us your name and tell us where you're calling from.
Hello, my name is Oluwafekeyomi.
Hey, Olu.
Hey. Yes, how you all doing? Tell me, I said hello.
Say your name again, brother. I want to catch that name.
Oluwafekeyomi.
Okay. Oluwa. Okay.
Oh, you are from Kenya, brother?
No, I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. I was raised in Harvey, Illinois.
Hey, H-Town in the house, my man.
And the gentleman, Mr. Ali there, I've been knowing him since I was a kid.
Me?
But yes.
Everybody know you, man.
Everybody know me. Oh yeah. What, how you know me, brother? I don't know you no money, do I?
That's what my wife.
What's up, brother?
You don't owe me any money at all. I owe you money.
Oh, do you? Okay, I want to get that. We're gonna talk off that end. I need that bread.
So what's your comment, bro?
You're gonna have to fly about 2,000 miles, man. I'm finishing my master's degree up here at Washington State University.
Congratulations,
man. Congrats. Get that education, man.
Educated black man.
Yes, sir.
And music composition. And so
yes,
I'm
sir.
starting my day off here by waking up, and I was on Mr. Ali's Facebook feed here, so I saw the conversation that was at hand.
Oh, praise the Lord. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, and by me being an African American male, and I've traveled around the world here performing music, and mostly in West Africa and Nigeria and Togo and Benin, and coming back here, this is unrealistic. The things that we have to go through on a daily basis, you know, being born here in this country, and you know, and seeing, you know, what our people are going through is just unrealistic in 2018. I'm gonna just be honest.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm the first male in my family to graduate college. Period.
Congratulations,
man. Break that generational curse.
Yes, and I deal with day-to-day racial issues. A lot of it seemed to be underhand, under the table type things, closed doors. And one thing I found out, you know, why a lot of us don't even go get educations, and why a lot of times we're in predicaments that we're in is because of the fact of the matter that, and I'm gonna just be honest, that these people have literally hidden all of the resources that are available. To other people. They literally, you know, detour us. They either simply detour us or keep us away from resources. And, you know, I graduated. I got my undergraduate from Texas Southern University, the real TSU, and music there. And also, you know, the resources we had was there was the people, you know, the African American males with doctorate degrees, things like that. That inspired me. You know, being from Chicago, I didn't know too many black African American males with doctorate degrees, first and foremost. But to be in that atmosphere and in that environment, it was just amazing. But then I get here to this town where I am now, and I'm about to graduate finally.
Hey, brother, what's your question? We want to stay on topic.
Well, yeah. My question is literally, what is a basis that we can go to you know, to get more resources to literally, so we won't have these type of things happening anymore, where people, these police officers are literally looking at us in a formality where they don't even care about themselves. They don't even take care of themselves within their own community. So why should we give them resources, and why should we start killing them? So what is a magnitude of a platform that we could do to just literally, you know, detour from all of the violence, you know, in full?
Did you say start killing them?
No, he said they're saying.
Oh.
Why should we stop killing them?
Yes.
Who?
Police.
The police.
Oh, okay. All right. You scared me.
Well, that's what we are trying to get to. You know what I'm saying? But
yes.
But first and foremost, you know, we as black men, we are the protectors of our community. Our women are the cornerstone.
I totally agree.
But we black men got to get back to checking black men up when they foul, and we got to start supporting each other and start strengthening each other, and you know, not to I'm definitely not. I want to make this clear because I don't think I've made it clear yet. I'm definitely not in support of what Stephon Clark's views were of black women. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I totally agree.
But we definitely have to deal with things like that as well. I mean, because if we don't respect our women, our world is not going to ever change. And the condition of our people is connected strictly to the disrespect of our women. And the moment we start respecting our women, the whole world is going to change, because Mary Bethune said that the true worth of a race is measured by the character of its woman.
That's right. That's right. So listen, brother, we want you to, man, continue to educate yourself, empower other people as God continues to pour into you and pour into other brothers, man, and continue to be an example, man. And we thank you for your call.
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Have
Thank
a great
you all
day.
very much.
God bless.
Bye bye.
You all too.
And did his accent change?
Man, he went from West Side to the Harvey quick, didn't he? Brother said, my name
I thought it was just me. I thought it was just me. So what, Melinda? Let me ask you something. What do you think are some things that we should do as a people to combat this constant in our community?
I would have to say, just be committed, stay committed. You know, like I mentioned before, we will get on this bus, you know, whatever it is that's trending at the moment, and then it falls off. And I think that's why they don't take us seriously. You understand? That's why they're allowed to continue to keep shooting down our black men the way that they do, because we're not going to do anything about it. We can march all day long. We ain't doing nothing but putting holes in the bottom of our shoes. They don't take us seriously.
No, marching.
So marching ain't doing nothing.
When we start hitting their money.
Exactly, hit them in their pocket.
And see, that's an aspect of Dr. King's movement that people really don't pay attention to. They think that he just got up to march and that was it. When he did the Montgomery bus boycott, and when he did that march, what was interesting is that people don't notice that he affected the whole economy there. All the folk pulled their money out of the bus system there. Yeah. And so they had to relent because, man, it was affecting the whole. It was affecting their economy, and it went under. Listen, this economy was built on what? Slavery. Yeah. It was a big business, and so when we have to get to the point where we understand the power that we have in our hands, and that's the problem. We believe that in the power that we possess, we can't use it appropriately. We can really use the power that we have. And I think that once we get to that place, and like you said, like Melinda said, not get on these trends, but be consistent. Be consistent with economic empowerment. Be consistent with education. Be consistent with support of black businesses and all that. Be consistent. Build our communities up. Put great businesses in our communities. Go to other communities, put our businesses there. Exactly. Fight for racial equality and our rights. We have to do that stuff, but we don't like to do. We get mad for a moment. We get happy for a moment. It's like we bipolar in nature.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we bipolar. Wakanda, Black Panther came out. We was like, oh my gosh, you know, and it felt good. It did. It really felt good to see that picture. Yeah. It really did. It felt good.
Imagine feeling like that forever. You understand what I'm saying? Not just for the moment.
Man, I'm talking. That thing says scam lightly. I might be scared. Yeah, like no. Right. So we have a caller. We're gonna take one more caller, then we're gonna give conversation to your project, Brother Razak. Okay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling. Give us your name and tell us where you're calling from.
My name is Joshua. I'm calling from Chicago.
Hi, Joshua. What's up, buddy? How you feeling, man?
What's going on, Josh?
All right, now I kind of tuned into y'all show pretty late. So the topics, when I came in, they were pretty much in different areas. Some people talking about economical growth. Some people talking about don't shoot the police and et cetera, so forth. But I guess your topic is primarily what, the state of the black community, or if I'm not mistaken.
Let me give you some clarity. We were talking about supporting Stephon Clark, yes or no, based upon his preference and the things that he said regarding black women.
Okay. Now, I will say this, and this is what I will say. And a lot of people may or may not take offense to it, and that's fine. But a man's preference is a man's preference.
There you go, bro.
Right.
If that's what he chooses, that's what he chooses. Now, some of the things that he said about black women, I disagree with, and some things I do agree with. Because now we all sit back and we always say, as black men, as black women, the black woman is a queen. But if you are a queen, then you should carry yourself as such.
So what part of what he said you agree with? I want to hear that.
Okay. Where he said that black women can, how I want to put it.
What did he say?
He's trying to get it out.
No, because you know what I'm saying, when you start talking about the Stephon Clark situation, it becomes a very touchy situation towards black women. Because I had the same type of conversation with a lady on Facebook, and she got upset with some of the things that I had to say in reference to him. But at the same time, it wasn't like, I mean, we have to get past this whole stigma that black men are inherently shaming black women.
So what we want to know is, what is it that you said you do agree with the statement that he said?
Yeah, be careful, brother.
You got some black women here.
Because I just want to say, what do you agree with?
How you gonna flip this? I want to hear this.
What do you agree with?
Come on, Josh.
I'm not gonna find you. It's okay.
I want to hear. There's gonna be some black women to find you. You better be careful,
exactly.
man.
So, you know what? I would just lead on with
you out there now. Swim back in. Come on. You out there now.
You can't lead that one closed, brother.
Come on, brother.
Come on, man.
Hey, stand on it, man. Stand on what you said.
I'm gonna lead on where it said.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna say it like this. You know, we have to understand that in today's society, us being black people, be it men or women, we are looked at with a certain type of view, under a certain type of microscope.
Yeah.
And then there are certain stigmas towards the black man. There are certain stigmas towards the black woman. Now, black women, they take a heavy stigma because inherently the whole unwed mother, baby daddy issue, that's a large thing. Then black men always say the attitude. Okay, some black women do have attitudes. Some don't. Not all.
Why?
But pardon?
Hey, bro. I'm because we don't have that much time. I'm gonna say this to you, man. I'm gonna share a little thought for you, bro. Always remember that behind every broken black woman, there is a broken black man.
And that's very true. I agree with you 100%.
So we have to look at, and I'm not excusing the behavior of our sisters. I'm not. I think sisters at some point need to get some help. And just brothers. I'm getting to the brothers too, Kenyatta.
But see, the black man, the problem with the black man, and this is what affects the black woman, is not so much that the black man is not being taught because there's no fathers in the home. That's BS, because I didn't have a father in my home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I turned out to be perfectly fine. But the thing, this right here, the choices that these black men nowadays are inherently making, one part of it is being the parenting that they're receiving from home, whether it's from a single parent home or whether it's from a dual parent home. What they're receiving from home, and then two is the fact that no one's teaching them how to love.
Okay.
Well,
we thank you so much for your comment and your time, and we'd like for you to have a great day.
Hey, man, I want you to do me a favor.
What's that, brother?
I want you to find Kenyatta Shepherd on Facebook and send her a friend request.
And I'll gladly accept it so that we can tap into this conversation a little deeper. KENYETTA.
Definitely will.
Hey, bro, God bless you, man.
Facebook friend.
Oh, you are?
I might be.
Oh, well,
I'm Wisdom's Facebook friend, so I'm probably your friend.
Okay, well, just reach out. It's Kenyatta.
That's
have a good day.
All right, bro. Right. Bless you, man. So tell us about you got a few minutes. Tell us about your program, man.
You can see this. This is some of the information I got.
Speak loudly.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, this is what it's about right here. It's the universal nation. From one came many.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mantra. That's the motto. And inside that pamphlet, I got information of a preamble, code of conduct. It's basically to put structure back into the streets that we lost. And it's not to take us back into a gang type of mentality, but there was some things that I learned from when I was in the street. You know what I'm saying? It was a chain of command. It was a business. It was a military structure. We did have respect for women. You know what I'm saying?
You got a violation if you did.
You got violations if you didn't. You plain and simple.
Your GD Queen.
GD Queen to the car.
You see what I'm saying? So like, I'm surrounded. But anyway, look, man, all praise due to Allah.
My brothers,
you know,
my brothers,
yeah, you know,
my brothers.
you know, but what I'm saying is that our streets, okay, the way they broke us down here in Chicago, and we gotta understand this: Chicago is key to keep the whole country under control, because our structure is what every single urban ghetto needs everywhere, because they don't have that. That's why they lost. Yeah,
we've lost it. We just need
we
structure.
totally lost that. And the way they broke us down is they outlawed our laws and literature. And when they outlawed that, or they made it a felony for that, that's how they was breaking it down. Then they locked the heads up. And then they
just scattered, because it's all over the place.
Right.
I got you.
So now we here now where everybody's just savage and renegades. You know what I'm saying? So I want to instill all of the good things that we had, and give some more righteous fundamentals.
So tell them how they could contact you if they were interested in even using this. Is this a module? What is this? Is it
yeah, you can contact me, right? I mean, I'm on Facebook, or you can
okay, give them that information.
Yeah. What's my name? Yusuf
Ali. We'll tag you.
Yusuf Ali. I'm going under my middle name, Yusuf Ali, because the FBI, and I'm gonna tell you real, because the FBI got on me, and they made me change my name.
Really?
Because it was Papa Son. Yeah, they went all type of stuff.
Wow.
I had to give them a birth certificate. I had to give them all type of information, personal information.
Okay.
To even access that page again.
Okay.
Because I was so active.
So how can they reach you?
You can reach me, at ESUF Ali, or you could just Facebook Universal Nation, and that page will pop up. I'm also working on a peace walk. I don't have a date set yet, but I did have one last October 1st of 2017. And I had a lot of a lot of activists, a lot of powerful people in the community come out. So I plan on doing that annually.
Okay, let us know.
What city?
Harvey.
Harvey. Okay. Yeah. Peace Walk in Harvey.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Peace Walk for Harvey. So that's what I'm working on.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Well, listen. Let me say this to all of our viewers and listeners today. Stephon Clark's life was tragically taken away from him. His preferences towards Black women is tragic. But the reality is this: we're not here for his preferences. We're here to fight a cause, and that cause is to stop the killing of unarmed Black men in America. And so we have to look past it, because he was not a perfect victim, but he was a Black victim.
Yes, sir.
And so at some point we have to stand up. Everyone, every man, boy, and girl that God has created is entitled to their preference. And if that was his preference, what he said about Black women was wrong. And I stand with all sisters today on that. Exactly. I stand with all Black women. But we're not here for that. What we're here for is what happened to him. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you what Mordecai told Esther. Don't you think for 1 second that it won't happen to you. What happened to him, what has affected his life, affects all of us. And so at some point, we have to start educating ourselves, empowering. Listen, parents out there, Black parents, talk to your children. Help them to understand. Melinda said it best, when she had a conversation with her daughter. When you pull it over, just be polite. Do all that you can. Don't agitate. Don't stir it up. Don't stir up the pot. Do all you can. But we also need to educate ourselves on our rights, because at some point you need to stand up and know your rights. Know what can and can't happen to you. And also use your camera phone. It's okay to record. You can record. You have that right. That's our weapon in our hands today. Because a lot of things that we wouldn't know a lot of things today had it not been for camera phones. And so I just pray that we as a people and culture would not allow them to throw a monkey wrench into our narrative so that they can change our narrative. They don't allow, because they're always going to do it to get our attention off the real issue. The real issue is this: the injustices that are happening against people of color, against brown and black people. Yeah. So that's the issue. And that's what we need to stand up on. That's what we need to fight. And in the words of the hip hop prophets, public enemy, fight the power. Yes. Fight the power that be. And that's what we need to do. Stand up and fight. You know, pray and continue to seek the Lord in all of this, and continue to be strong and stand up and let your voice be heard. And that's all I want to say about it. And this is the truth, whether you like it or not. And we out of here. Peace.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here next Thursday at 12 noon.
I ain't eating right. I hate to see the night. I exist, but that don't classify as life. Always did right, but what went wrong? My life seems to sing the same sad song. Sometimes when I'm weak is when I'm really strong. We've been endured for a night, but it seems long. Hurt, anger, non-belief,